Hi guys, good to see you. Thank you for being a member of Real Truth. Now, there's nearly 800 people in the group. I'm so chuffed. Thanks guys, you've been amazing. Thank you for liking this. Um, my aim is to get this up to 1,000 people over the next couple of days, and then 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, and then boom, we get 1 million people. So that's what I want, and I want to create an army of truthers, okay, fighting for something that's gonna fucking change. Now, that's what I want, okay, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. What was the last post I put up? I've got a lot of videos due to come out, and I've got a lot of things I'm going to be putting up. First off, Titanic. I don't want to spend too long on this because there's so much stuff to cover, so many new things in the headlines now that I want to be giving you the alternative information, the real truth. First off, right, okay, Titanic. Wow, did I upset some people with this or what? Jesus Christ. So many people got offended, but 95% of people were quite supportive and also messaging me. I got a lot of messages coming through, but don't be scared, guys, to post stuff in the group. No one's, if Facebook's spying on us, they're spying on the messages as well as the group, right? Okay, so you're not incognito by messaging me, but I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, and it means a lot, especially the nice comments, obviously. Thank you very much for it. First off, Titanic, right. It did happen. Some people say the Titanic ship itself was a sister ship. Okay, Titanic never actually sailed. Okay, its maiden voyage never happened. Okay, and its sister ship, it didn't tally up with the actual numbers on the vessel itself that the Titanic was actually granted with. I don't actually know. That's something I can't know. I take my information from certain archives. Okay. And what I do know is the captain was Edward Smith, okay? That existed. He was Edward Smith with his crew, but he was under oath with a Jesuit master, okay? And that is the case. That happened, all right? And his job was to sink that bloody Titanic. The captain was an experienced captain, and he had sailed these seas to and from New York, and he'd sailed them for 25 plus years, and he knew full well the ice fields where the icebergs lay, especially at that time of year, and he ignored telegrams and he ignored orders with people from binoculars. Whatever you say, there weren't enough binoculars on board or small boats for people. Yet again, there weren't supposed to be people saved, really. They didn't want many people being saved. They didn't want to risk the 3 richest people in the world at the time being saved. If the Titanic was unsinkable, why have any boats on it at all, right? But they put 7 or 8. You can't have it both ways, I either fill it with enough boats to save all the people on board if there's a catastrophe like there was, or have none on there. Okay? Fucking hell. Right, so the 3 richest people in the world at the time. Now, these guys didn't want the Federal Reserve imposed, okay? These guys were trying to stop it. They didn't want it coming about, the Federal Reserve. They tried to block it just like Abraham Lincoln, just like John F. Kennedy tried to get rid of the Federal Reserve, okay? Now, Abraham Lincoln, all right, created government interest-free money when he was in office. That's what he did. He created interest-free money, not like the crap we've got now, where every loan, okay, every promissory note, everything is set out to create interest on money that is printed, like monopoly money, and they give that out to people, and they say, you pay us interest back on this money that we created out of thin air. All right, so the interest, where's that interest coming from that you're paying back? It's from the original, not from the original service, because it's not even there. It's coming from another store of money that's out there. So where the fuck's it all coming from? Can't never be repaid. So that was greenback dollars, they called Abraham Lincoln. All right. Now he wanted to pay off the debt from the Civil War. That's what Abraham Lincoln wanted. And forget the top hat or whatever else. how fucking weird looking he was a good guy. All right. Now, in 1865, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. As with Kennedy's assassination, JFK, all right, after Lincoln was killed, interest-free money was taken out of circulation. Okay. Lincoln, as with Kennedy, was well aware of the corruption. And there's a letter also in 1864 that Abraham Lincoln sent to William Elkins. Okay, Google it. JFK signed an executive order, quadruple 10. This order returned the power to issue currency back to the government without going through the Fed Reserve. Okay, without going through the Fed. Oh my God, are you kidding me? 1963, 1913, they've been in power 50 years. The Fed, private corporation, Fed Reserve. Back to the Titanic. Titanic, Captain Smith, ignoring all the telegrams, the calls to the guys beneath deck that there were icebergs ahead, he goes and revs it up another 20, 30 knots and heads right into it because he knew exactly what he needed to do. He needed to sink that ship. Okay? That's precisely what he needed to do. Now, there were a lot of people, and people say this before, and some of them say they were Jesuits, whatever else, I don't know. But the fact remains, there were a lot of people handing their tickets and putting their tickets up for sale before the Titanic set sail. Okay, practically giving the tickets away. All right. Now these were people with information. All right, they were giving their tickets away practically, and this is why there were a lot of lower classes on board. All right, that Titanic was never going to make New York because it had to take down these guys. Okay, they were the three richest guys that opposed the organisation of the Fed Reserve. They didn't want that in place. It suited them quite fine. Now, I'm not saying these people are good people. They're probably shit artists, yeah? And maybe their system would come into play and the powers that they would have created ongoing would have been any better. But what the hell is it doing now? Okay? It's causing people to commit suicide, people that are in debt. All right, and we're always in debt. I don't know if you notice, but do you ever notice that you never get past a certain threshold with your wealth? Do you notice you always take maybe 3 steps forward, 2 3/4 back with your wealth? Okay, maybe 3 forward, 4 back. But you notice it's a certain threshold. It's like as if there's something holding you back. You can't push through. That is the system. That is how it's designed. We need to be aware that we're in a corrupt system. That's Titanic. Whether people say it was the Olympic, its sister ship, just realised the name, or not, it's irrelevant to me. Whether the Olympic was swapped weeks before because there were a lot of restoration going on, who fucking cares? I don't care, to be quite frank. The truth of the matter is, Jacob Astor, Ben Guggenheim, Isidor Straus, those 3 guys alone were not even Bill Gates level. They were far beyond Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and the richest people in the world today. Okay? Far beyond those. In relative terms, they were far richer for the time. Okay? And had much, much more influence because the Illuminati did not really have the hold on the system they do now. Okay? So, them being as wealthy as they were, the hold was not really in place. Whether or not you say they've been in charge of hundreds and hundreds of years, possibly, but not the money supply. The money supply was the greatest hold they needed to get. There was also another guy who was Archibald Willingham. He was an influential military aid guy to US President Roosevelt, and died on the ship as well. And I think he played a key role because he was visiting the Pope just before. Okay, now this does come in. The Catholic Church comes into this massively, but there was something to do with him. So Google that guy, all right, Archibald Willingham. Something to do with it. Wasn't rich, but superior guy. Those are the facts, guys, okay? The Fed Reserve came into play literally a year later, give or take a month or two, a year later, all right, after the Titanic sank, and the Illuminati frontmen, the Morgans, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, met on Jekyll Island and basically established it, okay, and pushed it through. And now the Federal Reserve controls the entire money supply through the US, but then that filters through all the central banks across Europe and the rest of the world, okay, and it's got a massive hold in Asia as well. China, America connection, we've got that to come as well. So, right, Titanic done. There's a lot more to come. I thank you very much for watching the video, and here's to the next one, guys. Over and out.